Welcome back, everybody. We are just getting word that President Trump has landed at the airport there in Ohio, John Glenn Columbus Airport. When the president takes the stage, there he is. A live look there, 6:15 Eastern Time. The president greeting fans there at the airport as he is going to head to the high school there, the Olton-Tangi Orange High School, where he will speak before a crowd, I believe Kristen Fisher says, of about 2,700 people. There is a tight race there, the Ohio's congressional 12th district race, neck and neck. The Republican candidate, Troy Balderson, 44% support at the moment. Democratic candidate, Danny O'Connor, with 43%. And you have undecided voters there coming in at 11%. So the president there is getting ready to head over to the high school for a campaign-style rally for the Republican candidate. And we will bring that to you live when the president arrives.
We expect the Russians and all countries to abide by the UN Security Council resolutions and enforce sanctions on North Korea. Any violation that detracts from the world's goal of finally fully denuclearizing North Korea would be something that America would take very seriously.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo with a stern warning for Russia following a report Moscow is violating UN sanctions by issuing new work permits for North Korean laborers. Now this as President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un exchanged letters with each other amid some questions over Pyongyang's commitment to denuclearize. Joining me now is Dr. Rebecca Grant, a national security and military analyst, also president of IRIS Independent Research. And Dr. Grant, thank you for being here. We don't expect the president to take the stage for another 15 minutes or so, but if he does, I may have to jump out of the interview just to give you a heads up.
Of course.
Thank you. So you have Secretary Pompeo issuing a stern warning to Russia to stop aiding North Korea by hiring day laborers whose money will go to the government. Meanwhile, you've got the president not as tough on Russia publicly and exchanging letters of diplomacy with Kim Jong-un. So the question off the bat is President Trump somehow undermining Pompeo's efforts?
No, I think the process is still on track. So first, Arthel, on the issue of the North Koreans working abroad, that's been an important source of hard currency for the North Korean regime. Countries like Poland and Kuwait have clamped down on it. We expect Russia to do the same as they have joined the U.S. with sanctions against North Korea. So the Russians always creating a problem. But to me, Arthel, this says why the direct engagement between Trump and Kim Jong-un is so important. That is still our best chance of denuking in North Korea.
And with that in mind, should then that seems to be a vote of confidence. So I ask you, should Americans watching this feel confident that the administration's national security frontline is working with results to stop Kim Jong-un's nuclear aggression and towards denuclearization? So should we be confident about that?
Yeah, that's a fair question. And I think that we should be confident, or as Pompeo likes to say, optimistic at the moment. And here's what I see happening. It's good that Trump and Kim are exchanging letters because everything comes down to that personal relationship in the end. Will Trump be able to cultivate Kim's will to denuclearize? And that's an open question still. It's good for Pompeo to be tough on Moscow. And also what's happening now with the ASEAN meeting in Asia, many countries coming together there. Pompeo is hearing from other allies and countries in the region that they like the stance on denuclearization. So I think we should be confident that things are technically on track. That said, I'm impatient. I want to see spent nuclear fuel rods coming out of North Korea. I want to see missile test stands in 1,000 pieces and North Korean nuclear engineers looking for new jobs. But remember,
at the moment, they're not doing that, according to new reports that they are still working on building that program. So what are we to make of that? I mean, the president, as you said, it's a good idea to exchange personal diplomacy between the two leaders and to have the Secretary of State Pompeo and his team working very diligently to stop and put pressure on people like Russia and Iran, because you've got Russia, providing financial support, as we just said, and then you have China's reluctance to cripple North Korea's economy. So, help us understand how this is really on track.
Yeah, I think we're at a delicate and frustrating moment because clearly there's some sticking point for North Korea. We don't know what it is. It's probably something to do with the peace treaty talks or with the status of U.S. forces. We are not taking any U.S. forces out of there. So we're looking for, North Korea has technically done some of the things to show goodwill, returning remains. They did take down some of the Songhai nuclear missile test site, but we hear that their centrifuges are still running. We don't know if they're running fast and producing a lot of fuel or just sort of ticking over. But, it is technically on track, but we need to see Kim Jong-un make that real valid step towards giving us an inventory or telling us how he will cease nuclear fuel production. Now, the great news still, no missile tests, and with that, that keeps the U.S. a lot safer. I like that part of it. We can't discount that. And Trump has plenty of options to ratchet up the military pressure if he needs to do so down the road.
And how is this being played out and seen on the world stage by allies and foes?
I think right now that we are giving this process time to work. Remember with Ukraine 20 years ago, it took 4 years, and Ukraine was a democracy. It took 4 years to denuclearize there. We see a lot of solidarity still at the UN, and I think we see our top international allies wanting this to work. So it really is about that delicate negotiation between Trump and Pompeo and Kim and whoever Kim listens to. So it's a delicate and frustrating time. I'd like to see some more concrete evidence, but right now things are still on track. Not moving as fast as I'd like, but technically still on track.
And I think that everybody's hoping for a positive outcome there. Dr. Rebecca Grant, thank you so much for your analysis.
Thank you.